Hello, ladies and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden. In today's video, we are going to be going over 25 of the best first cars for less than $4,000. I had to check what the topic was again. These are just overall good first cars. Most of them are like for car guys. Let's be real. But I'll say whether or not the car is like incredibly reliable and anybody should buy it, or if it's something that's more towards the car guy side, because obviously as car guys we do sacrifice a little bit of reliability sometimes and practicality for things like fun. And so there are some cars on here that are a little bit more fun than they should be and a little bit less reliable than they should be, but most of these cars are reliable as hell. And like anybody that's in high school or college, or even if you're 47 years old and you're buying your first car, it doesn't matter. If you're a first time car guy buyer, these are good options for you. Without further ado, let's go right into number 25. And number 25 is going to the Honda Civic EK, which is the 6th generation of the Honda Civic fam. I love the EK Civics, but I like the coupe versions of them. Everybody else likes the hatchback versions of them. Either way, they are good options. So if you want a hatchback, if you want a sedan, if you want a coupe, go for it, man. Comes with a 1.6 liter inline 4, making 106 horsepower in their front wheel drive. Now, yes, like the Civic SIs, they do make more. They make like 160 or something like that. But it's going to be pretty hard for you to find a Civic Si for under 4K. If you can, hit my line because I kind of want one. But yeah, they're great options. Reliable as hell, fun as hell, checks all the boxes. 24th is going to the Toyota Corolla, 9th generation of the Corolla fam. The Corolla has been like one of the best selling cars of all time for quite some time now, and for obvious reasons. They're reliable as hell, they're practical as hell, they're good on gas. Everything about them is just amazing for a daily driver. As for us car guys, maybe not the best option out there for us, or a little bit boring, but they're good for everything else. Comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 130 horses in its front wheel drive. You're going to notice that as a trend in this video. A lot of these cars are front wheel drive. Just like the next one. What? It's the Nissan Altima Coupe. My buddy Quentin has one of these and has never let him down. I'm actually really surprised that nobody talks about these. They come with, well, actually they come with two motors, and one is the 350Z motor, the 3.5 liter. But I'm going to talk about the 2.5 liter inline 4 that makes 170 horsepower in its front wheel drive. Why? Why is he going to talk about that? Because they're a lot cheaper. They're a lot easier to work on. Parts are cheaper for them. It's just a better option for you if you're just looking for a daily. Yeah, the 3.5 liter is a lot more fun, and it's still reliable as hell. So if you want to go with that one, you can. But I'd recommend the inline 4. Next up is not a car at all. Woohoo! I took you guys for a fool. It's the Chevy Silverado 1500 Cat Eye. This is a truck, but trucks are good options. I mean, spoiler alert, there's multiple trucks on this list because they genuinely are just good options for first time car owners. They come with a 5.3 liter V8, making 285 horsepower in its 4x4. Obviously, that's a lot of horsepower, so you're probably like, whoa, a big old truck with a lot of power for a first-time car buyer. Are you sure that's not a little bit too dangerous, Mark? Well, luckily, these things, like you said, are big. They're big old trucks, man. And so, yeah, you got to get used to driving a big truck, but after you get used to that, they're not, like, fast or scary or anything. The next car, however, is definitely more on the car guy side of things. I would not recommend this to any just Joe Schmo. The Lexus SC400. It's still incredibly reliable and still good on gas, like still good cars for like that side of things, but they are rear wheel drive. They're more expensive. They might have some issues. So I would recommend them more for the car guys. They come with a 4 liter V8, making 270 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. Obviously, rear wheel drive is with 270 horsepower. It's not something that like any Joe Schmo should buy. And that's why I'm saying if you're a car guy, high schooler, this is a better option for you than just a regular guy. But they're going to be a load of fun. I love the SC platform. I think they're gorgeous. 20th place is probably the most surprising car on this list because the fact that they're under 4K already is insane to me. It's the Audi A4 B8. The B8 A4s are not that old. Like, they're pretty new cars. Like, they're nice, and they're already under $4,000. God bless them. The car comes with a 2 liter turbo inline 4, making 211 horsepower in its front wheel drive or all wheel drive. I would go with the all wheel drive option if you had the choice, but chances are you're just going to be stuck with a front wheel drive for under 4K. Either way, they're good cars. Their reliability is definitely questionable, but everything else about them massively makes up for it. But if you want a car that has no questionable reliability, well, don't worry, partner, I got you covered. It's the Volvo 240. The Volvo 240 is one of those cult cars. Everybody in the Volvo gang loves the 240, and for good reason. They truly are just absolutely incredible. They come with a 2.3 liter inline 4, making 114 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. Definitely not a car for just any Joe Schmo. The rear wheel drive aspect of it is definitely questionable, and its age is going to show. It's an old car. Just keep that in mind. But if you are a car guy, these are awesome cars. They're safe as hell, reliable as hell, good on gas, fun. Everything about them is awesome. 18th is 100% just a car guy car. This is not, I would not, do not buy this if you're just like some regular dude, does not care about the fun aspect of the car. It's the BMW 540i E39. That's not to say that these cars are unreliable. They're actually a very reliable BMW. It's surprising. But they come with a 4.4 liter V8, making 286 horsepower in their rear wheel drive. So not only is the gas mileage going to be slightly worse, but the rear wheel drive aspect of it with 290 horsepower pretty much is obviously scary for a first time driver. So I would definitely recommend going towards something easier if you don't care about the fun aspect of the car. From one just car guy car to another, 17th is the Nissan 300ZX Z32. The Z32 is obviously, I think, underrated. Like, this is, in my opinion, like the coolest of all the Z cars, the Z32, 300ZX, and nobody ever really talks about it. They come with a 3-liter V6, making 222 horsepower in their rear wheel drive. These are just straight up a sports car. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. These are sports cars. They're hard to work on. They're not the easiest. They're not that reliable. They're decent on gas, but nothing crazy. They're 100% like a car guy car. Like, no ifs, ands, or butt cheeks about it. The only reason why they're on this list is because they are decently reliable. 16th place is going to my car. I have one of these and I got it for $3K. So in my opinion, it's a great option. It's the Acura Integra DC4. This is like a more sporty version of the Civic we talked about earlier. The car comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower in their front wheel drive. It's a B series, so if you are a car guy, you can make this thing fun. But if you're not, it's also still a good option. It's a good looking option too. It's reliable as hell. The space is definitely questionable. I'm 6'1" and I have some trouble sometimes in my Integra, but overall it's an incredible car just for anybody pretty much. 15th is definitely a sports car, like 100% without a doubt in my mind. It is a sports car, but it's a sports car that is still a good option for many people. It's the Mazda Miata NB, not the NA, because the NB is somehow cheaper than the NA is right now because everybody wants those pop-up headlights. The car comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. Obviously rear wheel drive in a sports car Miata is questionable, but everything else about it is so good, man. Yes, it could spin out on you because it's rear-wheel drive, but then again, it only has 135 horsepower, so it might not. Its reliability is incredible. Its gas mileage is incredible. The only questionable thing is its practicality. I mean, it's a small car, it doesn't have a lot of space, but that's it. 14th is going to a car that I massively underestimated back when I first heard about it, the Ford Crown Victoria. These things are truly just beasts. The bad boy comes with a 4.6 liter V8, making 235 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. It's incredibly reliable, pretty good on gas, especially for a V8, has 4 doors, has tons of space. The only questionable thing is the fact that it is rear wheel drive with decent horsepower, but it's not even that high of horsepower, so you probably won't have any troubles driving this thing, man. Like, let's be real. If you live in like a winter area, yeah, maybe I'd stay away from it just because it's a rear wheel drive aspect, but everything else about it is genuinely incredible. And the fact that there's so freaking many of them out there, they built them for years, so they're dirt cheap and they never will be expensive. 13th position is going to the wonderful Volkswagen GTI Mark V. Pretty much any GTI under 4K can be a good deal. Just be careful when you're going to look at them because these cars have owners that do not know how to take care of cars sometimes. But they're all pretty good deals. I just went with the Mark V because I don't talk about it enough. The car comes with a 2-liter turbo inline 4, making 210 horsepower in its front wheel drive. These things are like the German Civic. They're just as reliable. Not as reliable because they do have that turbo, and the turbo problems on GTIs are notorious, but everything else about them is just the same. Has tons of space, practicality out through the roof, gas mileage is good, everything about it's just a good option. 12th place is a car that I would not recommend for car guys, but would recommend for non-car guys, which is interesting. The Subaru Impreza 2.5 Blob-eye, not the WRX. WRX is unfortunately just not under 4K anymore. I wish it was. I would want one so bad. The car comes with a 2.5 liter flat 4, making 165 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. This is pretty much the same motor that came with the Foresters, the Legacies, pretty much everything around that time that Subaru was building this motor. It's the same one, and it's incredibly reliable as long as you don't boost it, which is why I say I don't recommend car guys buy it, because obviously if you're a car guy, you're going to buy it and you're going to want to boost it, you're going to want to make the power crazy, and once you do that, that's when it gets head gasket issues. Barely missing out on the top 10 is without a doubt the most reliable, the most practical car on this list, the Toyota Camry 7th generation. The 7th gen Camry is nothing to look special. You know, you don't look at these things as you're driving by them on the streets and you go, wow, I want one of those cars. But they are insanely good options for a first car. They come with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 158 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive. I don't got to sell you on a Camry. You know everything about it. It's reliable, it's good on gas, it's practical. Everything about it is just absolutely incredible. The only thing is it's not going to be that fun. 10th place is another truck. I told you we were going to be having some trucks on this list, boy. That's because they're good options, man. It's the Ford Ranger. My buddy in high school, his name is Ben. He had a Ford Ranger. He had a Miata at first and then sold it for a Ford Ranger, and he never looked back. It truly is just an incredible option. The car comes with a 4-liter V6 making 190 horsepower, and it's 4x4. Obviously, that's incredible for us winter folks because it's got the 4x4 thing, but even if you're not a winter folk, it's a small truck, so it's not like crazy on gas or anything. You don't got to commit to having like a full-size truck that's gonna like eat up your wallet. No, it's just genuinely an incredible option for anybody. 9th place. Is it more of a car guy? Yeah, we're going back to the car guys for a little bit here, boy, because these are more for the enthusiasts. It's the BMW 328i E46. Pretty much any German car is definitely going to be a little bit questionable, especially when it comes to BMWs, but I love them, so I'm going to include them on the list anyway. The car comes with a 2.8 liter inline 6 making 190 horsepower, and it's rear wheel drive or all wheel drive, which is actually pretty good if you live in a winter area. It's obviously just a fun car though. It's not the best on gas, not the most reliable, not the most practical, but it's a fun ass car, and it's still decently reliable and stuff. 8th place is one that kind of fits for both people. It fits for car guys and it fits for regular people. It's the Honda Accord 7th generation. Pretty much any Accord under 4K is going to be a good deal. It's a Honda. Pretty much any Honda under 4K is going to be a good deal because they're just that reliable. But the 7th gen Accord is a car that's good for car guys and regular people. It comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4 making 166 horsepower, and it's front wheel drive. The motor is a K series, so if you are a car guy, you can have a ton of fun building this thing. But if you are just a regular guy, then you could just keep it stock and use it for its reliability. It's good for both worlds. 7th place is one that I talked about a lot, and I've kind of garnished like a little bit of a cult following for him on this channel because people love me talking about him. It's the Subaru Forester SF. The SG is also a good option, but I would just recommend going with the SF. If you're going for a 4K Forester, go with the SF. It's better. It comes with a 2.5 liter flat 4 making 165 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. It's the same thing as the Impreza we talked about earlier, pretty much just on a bigger car, and that's the reason why it's higher. It has so much more things that you can do with it because it's so lifted, as it's got so much more space in the car than the Impreza. It's just a better like overland. You could do more stuff with this car than the Impreza can. 6th place is a vehicle I don't talk about enough because I never talk about them ever, honestly. It's the Volkswagen Jetta TDI Mark IV. I never talk about Jettas, and I especially never talk about TDI Jettas. If I do talk about Jettas, I usually talk about the GLI Jettas, but the TDI Jettas are just insane. They come with a 1.9 liter turbo diesel inline 4 making 100 horsepower, and it's front wheel drive. Obviously, it's not a race car. You're not going to make this thing incredibly fast or anything like that, but they are light, so you can have some fun, on the twisties and stuff, but that's not the point anyway. The turbo diesel motor is insanely reliable. I have a friend right now who has one with 360,000 miles on it. The rust is going to kill that car before the engine does. 5th place is another Honda because these things have made a reputation for being good first cars, and for a good reason. It's the Honda Civic 8th generation. I love the 8th gen Civics. I know they don't get as much love in the community as like other 8 Civics, but I think they should. I love them so much. They come with a 2 liter inline 4 making 140 horsepower in their front wheel drive. Just like the other Civic we talked about earlier, it is a good option for both people. If you want to have a fun little car, it's good for you, but if you also just want a reliable, cheap daily driver, it's good for you as well. There's nothing wrong with them. All right, 4th place is another enthusiast car, but at the same time, it can be a good option for regular people as well. It's the Infiniti G35 Coupe. I would say if you're a regular person though, just get the sedan, because the Coupe is really only there because it looks cooler. That's pretty much it. So if you're a regular guy and don't care about the looks or all that stuff, get the sedan. The car comes with a 3.5 liter V6 making 287 horsepower going to the rear wheels. Obviously, that's definitely questionable. It's the same motor in the 350Z. It's going to be a fast car, maybe not the best choice for your first car if you don't know what you're doing, but overall, it's insanely reliable. It's good on gas. It is forgiving too. Like, it's not like you're going to be driving, like I had a 350Z, trust me, man. You're not going to be driving around a corner and you're going to just slide out of nowhere. Like, it's not that hard to drive. 3rd place is like the only Lexus available now that's like a cool Lexus that's good for under 4K anymore. It's the Lexus GS300. All the other 300s, IS300, SC300, LS400, all those cars are just too overpriced now. They're too crappy. Not the GS300, they're the last one standing. They come with a 3 liter inline 6 making 225 horsepower in their rear wheel drive. The only questionable thing about this car is the rear wheel drive fact. Everything else is incredible. It's reliable as hell. It's good on gas. It's got tons of space. It's a decent looking car. It's luxurious, especially for its time. Everything about the GS300 checks all the boxes you would want, except for the fact that it is rear wheel drive. So if you live in a winter area, just keep that in mind. 2nd place, though, silver medal, is another truck. Well, like, you could call it a truck. You could also call it an SUV. It's a Jeep Cherokee XJ. These things are just, I mean, they're just one of the most reliable vehicles of all time. The straight sixes in these and the TJ Wranglers, God bless them. Comes with a 4-liter inline 6, making 190 horsepower, and it's 4x4. Like I just said, that motor's insanely reliable. It's also obviously going to be really good if you live in a winter area or somewhere where there's a lot of off-roady bits. You can have a ton of fun with it there too. It's just an insane option. There's a reason why people are still driving these things all over the place. But first place, in my opinion, the best car for a first-time car buyer for less than $4,000 right now is the Acura TL 3rd generation. I've mentioned this car in so many of my videos because it truly is just that good. They are so freaking reliable, man. They are just, and they don't even have to be that reliable because they're also fun. They check all the boxes. They come with a 3.2-liter V6 making 258 horsepower in their front-wheel drive. So finally a car with decent horsepower, but it's also front-wheel drive, so us winter boys can buy it and not have to worry. It's also a Honda, so obviously it's going to be insanely reliable, but it also is a Honda, so obviously it can get more power out of it if you want to. It's also not just a regular Honda. It looks kind of sporty, unlike something like a Civic or an Accord. It does look like it's faster than those. It just genuinely checks all the boxes, and the fact that these things are still under 4K is mind-blowing. Pick them up while you still can. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. I hope you guys, if you guys noticed, I'm standing. Why is he standing? Why does he care about standing? Well, let me tell you a little secret, pal. I was like looking at my had like a badass reflux last night, right? And I was like, what is going on? So I looked it up. I like sit for so much time of the day. So you know what I'm doing? I'm standing from now on, boys. I'm gonna be just standing. I'm not even playing a video game, standing. Working out, well, you'd probably be standing for that either way. Making scripts on YouTube, standing. We're standing, folks. So let me know if you guys stand, you know? Am I the only stander in this video? I don't think so. I think some of you guys have stood in life as well. If you've ever stood before, leave a comment down below. If you've ever stood, like this video, subscribe to the channel. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see, obviously. Sorry for the, I'm doing a video every other day now, and I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but that's what I'm doing. So, sorry if you guys were like, where's the video yesterday? It's every other day. Every other day, partner. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice